Hey everybody, it's Michael here from Replica Airguns with another tabletop video review for you guys. Today we're looking at the Daisy Powerline 340, and this is a spring BB pistol. I'll be doing a shooting video or a field test shooting video for you guys shortly. Now before I start, I did want to mention this gun is available in our Canada Replica Airgun store over at replicaairguns.ca. Maybe in our US store shortly after this video airs, so you can check it out there at replicaairguns.us. I generally will put links in the description of this video so you can purchase them in Canada and the US when they're available in those locations. All right, let's get on with the specifications. This is a non-blowback, mostly plastic external construction gun with a few metal parts, including the barrel and probably some other metal parts inside. It is spring powered. It does use the slide to cock that internal spring. It shoots 4.5 millimeter steel BBs and has a 13-shot dropout plastic magazine with a 200-round hopper. The overall length of this gun is about 8.5 inches. I'm not sure of the actual barrel length. I'm gonna assume it's probably about 4 or 5 inches in length. This gun has fixed sights front and back and shoots in single action only. Since it is a spring-fired gun, you have to cock that slide back, which then engages the spring and the hammer, allowing for single action shooting. The Powerline 340 weighs in at a whopping 1 pound or 454 grams, and it shoots up to 240 FPS, going to be lower than CO2 since it's not a CO2 gun, it is a spring-powered gun. And lastly, you may notice the Powerline 340 looks a lot like a Beretta 92. It's also made in China. I haven't opened it up just yet. I wanted to show you the box intact, or this packaging intact. It's kind of got a cardboard backing with a plastic sort of front half. Not really a clamshell. They're a little harder to get into even than the clamshells, believe it or not. And once I get into it, it's going to be a mess. So before I do that, I thought I'd show you it all together here. So you can see your 200-shot BB repeater with 13-shot speed loader clip. Basically what that means is it's got a spring follower type system that holds 13 shots with a 200-round hopper. Okay. Other important information there. Okay. There's more information really on the back, so let's flip it over and get to that. Okay, so here's the actual information we need to know. Spring air powered, .177 caliber, 4.5 millimeter steel BBs, blade and ramp front, fixed open sights, fixed open rear, 200 shot with 13 shot speed loader. Kind of a weird way of saying it, but you know what I'm talking about there. It's not really a cross bolt that you would push it back and forth. It's more of a, well, I'll show you the safety when we get to it. Do that smoothbore barrel. 240 FPS BBs, 100 yards, 92 meters maximum distance, and 8.5 inches, 1 pound, okay? Some other little picture stuff there for you to look at. All right, I'm gonna open this up. Actually, that wasn't too bad. I only had to rip this top part a little bit, but I did get the gun out. Let's take a quick look here. You also get the manual, okay? I'm not gonna spend a lot of time with the manual, but you'll see here, it shows you how to load up that magazine when you get to it there, when I pull it out, how to load it up, the BBs. All you're really gonna need with this gun really is just the BBs. Okay, how to work that slide to cock the spring, little safety instructions there, kind of how to sight it in, figure 5 there. All that usual stuff you find in manuals. Now before I do a walk around, just as a size and kind of gun comparison, here I have my KWC, I think it's an M92 as a model number. And this is a Beretta 92, very similar in size. This is an all-metal gun with blowback action, so it's a little bit different. Going to be a lot heavier, over 2 pounds versus 1 pound, because this is all plastic. But just as a size comparison, you can see they're about the same size. Now the Beretta 92 has this open slide area where you can have the exposed barrel here. Okay, that's typical Beretta 92. Probably because there's a spring inside of here, they couldn't do that. So it's sort of got this partial exposed barrel, even though it's not really the barrel. You can see here, it sits a little higher than the barrel. It just sort of makes it look like it's the barrel. All right, let's get this KWC out of here for now. Let's do a walk around. Take a good look here. Okay, so let's get into some of these parts. This is your safety right here, okay? It's the slide catch release, so it's not actually the slide catch release, but when you've got the red there, it shows that it's ready to shoot, okay? Can't pull it back, can't pull it back. Okay, let's take a look at it here. You got your model number and stuff here. Okay. Information on the side, made in China. Okay. That is for the actual, it is a magazine release. Just a plastic magazine, nothing too exciting. In this guy here, how do you do this? Okay, you just pull it back, load your BBs in there, and when you want to pop them in, you just pull this down and sort of shake them in, okay? And I'll do that in a bit, but that's how that works. Maybe I'll throw some BBs in there for fun and see how it works. But pretty lightweight, all plastic. We'll leave that out for now. Open magazine there. Okay, so this selector here, this would normally be the safety. It's just molded into the slide. You do actually have a working hammer. And I believe you can sort of decock it. Yeah, you can decock it. Okay. Definitely a single action trigger, so a little bit of take up, not much, maybe 1/4 of an inch. And then it's pretty light, it actually feels really good. So that should allow for decent shooting. You got your open sight in the back, nothing too exciting there. The grips, I believe, are just molded into everything, so I don't believe you can take them out. Maybe you can. They might be, actually they do look like they're separate from the actual frame, so you should be able to take the pistol grips off there. Okay. Warning instructions, serial number, information there. You do have a bit of a recessed barrel, okay, but there's your inner barrel there. It's actually a little bit lower. And there's the front sight, so no white dots or anything. So I'm going to just cock it here. It takes a bit of effort, obviously, because it is spring powered. Okay. Got a little bit of, you know, you feel it when you shoot it because there's the spring moving pretty harsh inside there, but not really any blowback or any kind of recoil, so to speak of. Okay, so that's pretty much it. See your seams and things. Looks pretty good though. There's not like a lot of screw holes. The nice thing is sometimes these inexpensive guns, they're 2 parts slapped together, but that's not the case here, probably because of the slide setup and the way that these grips actually hold it together. Potentially you don't have screw holes in the side, so it looks pretty good actually. Okay, let's throw a few BBs in here real quick. So you just sort of pop that up here, you pull it back, pop that up. All right, that's probably enough. Slide that back in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shake these. I think I'm doing this right here. Apparently not. All right, I figured it out. So there's this little tab in here. You pull this back, and then I believe you just turn it upside down. And there you go, you get some in there. See how there's some in there now? So we'll do that again. Okay, so I got some in there. I was thinking there should be more, but we got a few in there. That should allow us to shoot some. And so you just turn it upside down and pull this out and just push that in, and it speed loads it up. So it looks like that's about as far as you get, but it doesn't take too long. Just pull this guy out again, turn it upside down, push it in, and there's your BBs. That's about as many as you get. It says it's going to be about 12. It looks like maybe it's a little bit less, but we'll find out. And that's it. So really, next thing I'm going to do is the field test. That'll be my next stage. But let's go over some of the pros and the cons real quick here. All right, overall, it's a pretty decent replica of an actual Beretta 92. Other than that, cutout's a little shorter. And for an inexpensive airgun, it has a lot of working parts. It's got that working slide, it's got that working safety, working magazine release, working hammer. A lot of these cheap and expensive guns, they don't have very many moving parts at all other than a little sort of mock safety and the trigger, that's generally it. It's also pretty low cost to operate. There's no CO2 required. It's under $40 right now in our Canada store, so a nice little airgun you can shoot for inexpensive. Also has that recessed barrel for added realism, and a nice single action only trigger that's not too heavy or long. You do have lots of ammunition storage in that internal hopper, up to 200 rounds, which you can speed load what look to be about 10 rounds. It says, I believe, 12, but I'm thinking it might be a little bit less, but that doesn't really matter. If you're out, you're out. You just quickly speed load a bunch more in there and you're ready to go. I like that the safety is built into the slide catch release. It looks like part of the gun instead of adding some weird funky switch on the side that isn't that believable. And you do get this full-size magazine, well, sort of full-size dropout magazine. And overall, the feel of the gun is pretty good. Everything feels nice. It's obviously lighter than an actual Beretta 92, but the feel is pretty good. All right, some of the cons. You're not going to get really high FPS, being that it is a spring-fired gun. We'll find out when I do my field test shooting video when I put it through the chrony to see what it actually is shooting. I'm going to assume just over 200-ish. You're also going to need to cock that slide back for every shot, so there's not going to be any action shooting with this pistol. You're going to have to cock it between each shot, slow things down a bit, but it will be fun for plinking, I'm sure. And lastly, this gun's made in China, not Taiwan or Japan or any place like that, so that could be a con for some people. All right, I want to remind you that the Daisy Powerline 340 is available right now in our Canada store over at replicaairguns.ca, potentially in the US store over at replicaairguns.us. So check out the links in the description if you're interested in buying this product. If you're interested in other air guns, BB guns, airsoft guns, pellet guns, blank guns, and accessories, then you can check out replicaairguns.ca for Canada and replicaairguns.us for the US for those products. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.